यहाँ क्या कर रही हो? आओ बातें करें.
The neuralizers flashed, the aliens returned, and somewhere between the first film's success and the sequel's troubled production, everything went wrong. But behind the black suits and CGI creatures, chaos reigned. The script was written during filming, the budget exploded, and the two stars stopped speaking to each other entirely. These are 20 weird facts about Men in Black 2. And buried in the disorder, a director fighting panic attacks while trying to save a movie spiraling out of control. Make it work, this gets messy. Number 20. The script was written during production.
Nothing fancy, no heroics, by the book this time.
Got it.
Hey.
Ooh. Hey, Jeff, what's happening, buddy?
Whoa! Kinda stupid.
Most Hollywood productions follow a careful process. Scripts are written, revised, polished, and finalized before cameras ever roll. Actors receive completed screenplays months in advance, allowing them to prepare performances and understand their character arcs. Directors plan shots based on knowing exactly what story they're telling from beginning to end. Men in Black 2 ignored all of these standard practices. The production began filming with an incomplete script, pages being written literally days or sometimes hours before scenes were shot. Writers were working frantically throughout production, trying to create a coherent story, while actors stood on set waiting for dialogue. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones would arrive for shooting days not knowing what their characters would say or do. The ending of the film didn't exist in any written form for the first several weeks of production. Nobody knew how the story would resolve, what would happen to the villain, or how the heroes would save the day. This created impossible working conditions. Actors couldn't build performances toward conclusions they didn't know. Directors couldn't plan visual storytelling without understanding narrative structure. The special effects team couldn't design creatures or action sequences without knowing what the plot required. Everyone was improvising, guessing, hoping that somehow all the pieces would come together in post-production. The chaos stemmed from Sony's aggressive release date demands. The studio wanted Men in Black 2 in theaters quickly to capitalize on the first film's success. They pushed production to start before the script was ready, gambling that talented people could create a movie while simultaneously figuring out what that movie should be. The gamble didn't pay off the way anyone hoped. Number 19. Will Smith improvised. Most of his lines...
You know our arrangements, Jeff. You don't travel outside of the E, F, and R subway lines. In exchange, you get to eat all the inorganic garbage.
Jeff, excuse my partner. He's new and...
When actors don't have finished scripts, they have two choices. Stop working and wait for writers to complete their jobs, or start improvising and hope something usable emerges. Will Smith chose improvisation, using his considerable comedic talent and quick wit to create dialogue on the spot when written pages failed to arrive, or when the scripted material felt flat. Many of men. In Black 2's most memorable moments, the jokes that landed with audiences and the character beats that worked came directly from Smith, making things up in the moment. This wasn't occasional improvisation to punch up a scene. This was Smith essentially writing his own performance throughout much of the movie, creating Agent J's dialogue without a script to guide him. He would arrive on set, learn the basic scenario of what the scene needed to accomplish, and then invent ways for his character to react and respond. Sometimes his improvisation worked brilliantly, creating comedy that was sharper than anything in the written pages. Other times it resulted in jokes that fell flat, or character moments that didn't connect to the broader story. The problem with extensive improvisation is that it's impossible to plan. Editors can't cut scenes together smoothly when they don't know what dialogue will exist until actors create it. Other performers can't react appropriately when they don't know what their scene partners will say. The narrative loses coherence when major character moments are invented spontaneously, rather than building from careful story structure. Smith did his best to save scenes through sheer charisma and talent. But even his considerable skills couldn't compensate for the fundamental problem of trying to make a movie without a finished screenplay. Number 18. Tommy Lee Jones nearly quit over the chaos.
How do you know that song?
Drink your coffee, we got work to do.
What do you know and what do you don't know?
How the hell do I know what I don't
Last
know?
night.
You hung up on me.
Yeah, I did. But that was because of all of those secrets. The universe.
Tommy Lee Jones is known for being a serious, disciplined professional who expects productions to be organized and efficient. He had worked on the first Men in Black, which despite its own challenges had been relatively well managed with a completed script and clear vision. When he returned for the sequel, he expected similar professionalism. Instead, he walked into complete disorder. The lack of a finished script, the constant rewrites, the improvised dialogue, and the general sense that nobody knew what movie they were making infuriated him. Jones made his displeasure known loudly and repeatedly. He complained to producers, directors, and studio executives about the unprofessional conditions. When complaints didn't improve the situation, he escalated to threats. Multiple times during production, Jones told people he was done, that he would walk off the set and let them figure out how to make Men in Black 2 without Agent K. These weren't idle complaints from a difficult actor. They were serious threats from a frustrated professional who felt his time was being wasted. Producers had to constantly manage Jones, convincing him to stay just a little longer, promising that the script situation would improve, begging him not to abandon the production. The tension created a miserable atmosphere on set, where everyone walked on eggshells around Jones, afraid that the wrong comment or another wasted day would push him to actually leave. His anger was justified given the circumstances, but it made an already difficult production even more stressful for everyone involved. Jones ultimately stayed through the entire shoot, but his experience on Men in Black 2 was so negative that it damaged his relationship with the franchise and with several people involved in the production. Number 17. The budget doubled mid-production.
You know, there's a really high possibility now that I might know some things you don't know.
Almost forgot.
Men in Black 2 was initially budgeted at approximately $90 million, a substantial sum but reasonable for a big summer sequel with established stars and expected special effects requirements. That budget was calculated based on a finished script with known requirements, planned shooting schedule, and predictable post-production needs. When production began without a completed screenplay, that careful financial planning became meaningless. The chaos of writing during filming created cascading cost overruns that eventually pushed the final budget past $140 million. Every rewrite required new sets, additional shooting days, and changed special effects requirements. Scenes that were planned, budgeted, and built would be scrapped when new script pages arrived with completely different requirements. Actors had to be kept on salary longer than originally scheduled, because nobody knew when filming would actually finish. The special effects budget exploded as designs changed repeatedly to accommodate evolving story needs. Studio executives watched in horror as costs spiraled beyond their worst projections. They had approved what they thought would be a profitable sequel with manageable expenses. Instead, they were funding an out-of-control production that was spending money faster than anyone could track. But they were trapped. Stopping production would mean losing everything already invested. The only option was to keep spending and hope the finished film would earn enough to justify the bloated budget. The budget overruns transformed Men in Black 2 from a sure financial success into a risky proposition that needed to perform exceptionally well just to break even. The pressure intensified on everyone involved to deliver a hit that could justify the runaway spending. Number 16. Laura Flynn Boyle replaced Famke Janssen last minute.
यहाँ क्या कर रही हो? आओ बातें करें।
Famke Janssen was originally cast as Serlina, the film's main villain. She had worked through pre-production, done costume fittings, and prepared for the role when she abruptly left the project just weeks before principal photography was scheduled to begin. The reasons for her departure were never fully explained publicly, though rumors suggested creative differences about the character's direction and concerns about the script's incompleteness. Whatever the cause, her exit created a massive crisis for a production already dealing with numerous problems. Sony needed a replacement immediately. They couldn't delay production further without incurring even more costs and missing their release date. They turned to Lara Flynn Boyle, offering her the role with almost no preparation time. Boyle accepted and was thrown directly into production with minimal rehearsal. No time to develop the character properly and barely any understanding of what the incomplete script would eventually become. Boyle did her best under impossible circumstances, but playing a major villain requires preparation and character development that she simply didn't have time to complete. Her performance suffered from the rushed casting, feeling less developed and threatening than Serlina needed to be as the film's primary antagonist. Critics and audiences noticed, with many reviews pointing to the weak villain as one of the sequel's major problems. The last-minute casting change was another symptom of Men in Black 2's chaotic production, another example of how the rushed schedule and incomplete preparation undermined the film before cameras even started rolling. Boyle became an unfortunate casualty of circumstances beyond her control. Number 15. The pug was trained by eating real food.
What happened? See what happened with T?
Passports, no rush. How they hanging, Jay? I'll be his partner. Thought I'd never get out of that mailroom.
Lose the suit.
Sure thing, partner. No problemo. Just going for the look. But if I say so myself, I do find the overall effect very slimming. Not that I've had it.
Frank the Pug returned for the sequel, the scene-stealing alien in a small dog's body who provided comic relief throughout the franchise. The character's most memorable moments involved eating, with Frank consuming pizza, hot dogs, and various human foods with exaggerated enthusiasm. Creating these scenes required training the actual pug actor to eat on camera in ways that looked funny and could be captured in single takes without extensive reshoots. The animal trainers made a practical decision: use real food instead of props or inedible substitutes. The pug was given actual fast food during filming, eating real pizza, actual hot dogs, and genuine human snacks, take after take. This created hilarious, authentic-looking footage of a small dog devouring food with genuine enthusiasm. But it also created a problem. Dogs aren't supposed to eat large quantities of greasy fast food. The pug gained noticeable weight during production, as it consumed hundreds of calories of unhealthy human food day after day. By the time filming wrapped, the pug was significantly heavier than when production began. The trainers had to put the dog on a strict diet after the movie finished to bring its weight back to healthy levels. The situation highlighted the sometimes questionable decisions made during chaotic productions, where immediate needs like getting usable footage override longer-term concerns like animal health. The pug recovered and was fine, but the incident became another strange detail in Men in Black 2's troubled production history. Another example of how the rush to complete the film led to decisions that probably should have been reconsidered. Number 14. Michael Jackson's cameo was his last film appearance.
Zed, the door locks are gone and the treaty is signed.
Good work.
Zed, what about that position you promised me in Men in Black? Wait a minute, that's not what you promised me.
You're breaking up.
Zed?
Can't hear you.
Hello?
I'll call you back.
I can be Agent M. Zed,
Michael Jackson appeared briefly in Men. In Black 2, as Agent M, an alien disguised as a human, working undercover at MIB headquarters. The cameo was filmed in early 2002, just months before Jackson's career and public image would be consumed by intensifying controversies and legal troubles that would dominate the rest of his life. At the time of filming, Jackson was still making occasional public appearances and seemed interested in maintaining connections to mainstream entertainment. The cameo itself was minor, just a few seconds of screen time, where Jackson's character appears during a headquarters sequence. He had minimal dialogue and no significant role in the plot. But for Jackson, it represented his final appearance in a theatrical film, the last time he would participate in a major Hollywood production before his life became consumed by scandal, financial troubles, and eventual tragic death. The production treated Jackson's appearance as a coup, a celebrity cameo that would generate publicity and excitement. They filmed his scene quickly and professionally, with Jackson reportedly cooperative and pleasant to work with. But within months of the film's release, new allegations and legal issues would make Jackson toxic to mainstream entertainment, ensuring he would never appear in another film. Men in Black. 2 preserved a moment when Michael Jackson could still participate in normal Hollywood productions, before everything collapsed around him and made such collaborations impossible. Number 13. Rosario Dawson's scenes were almost entirely cut.
Easy, easy.
They're worms.
Once you go worm, that's what you'll yearn.
Yeah, that's what they say.
My communicator, in case you need it. Okay.
Rosario Dawson was cast in a significant supporting role, playing a character who was supposed to have meaningful interactions with Agent J and contribute to the plot in substantial ways. She filmed numerous scenes over several weeks of production, building what she believed would be a memorable part in a major summer blockbuster. Then the film went through test screenings, and everything changed. Test audiences didn't respond positively to Dawson's character. Focus groups indicated confusion about her role in the story and lack of interest in her subplot. The feedback suggested her scenes were slowing down the narrative without adding enough value to justify their screen time. Faced with this response, editors made brutal decisions during post-production, cutting most of Dawson's performance from the finished film. What was supposed to be a substantial role became barely a cameo, with Dawson appearing briefly in just a few scenes with minimal dialogue. Entire sequences she had filmed disappeared completely, leaving only fragments that barely established her character's existence. For Dawson, it was a devastating experience, watching weeks of work vanish from a film that had promised to raise her profile significantly. The extensive cuts to her role became another example of Men in Black 2's post-production struggles, as editors desperately tried to reshape the film into something that would work despite its troubled production. Dawson's performance became collateral damage in that desperate rescue attempt. Number 12. The Worm Guys were recast entirely.
We'll keep both of them on her. No problem.
Hey, hey, hey!
Why don't you sit right here? Oh, yeah, like you got a shot. Hey, shut up! Very bad.
Yeah, listen, I need your help. This is Laura.
Laura. Hey,
Easy, easy.
The worm aliens from MIB headquarters returned for the sequel, providing comic relief with their distinctive voices and personalities. But sharp-eared fans noticed something different about the beloved characters. They sounded wrong, not quite matching the vocal performances from the first film. That's because the Worm Guys were completely recast for Men in Black 2, with different actors providing voices for characters audiences had already grown attached to in the original movie. The recasting happened quietly, without any public announcement or acknowledgement from the studio. The original voice actors weren't brought back for reasons that were never fully explained, possibly related to budget constraints, scheduling conflicts, or the general chaos of the rushed production. New performers were hired to imitate the original voices as closely as possible, but the matches weren't perfect. Dedicated fans noticed immediately and complained on early internet forums about the vocal differences. The Worm Guys sounded flatter, less distinctive, missing subtle qualities that had made them memorable in the first film. But casual viewers mostly didn't catch the change, accepting the characters without recognizing they were hearing different performers. The studio never acknowledged the recasting publicly, presumably hoping most audiences wouldn't notice or care. The decision to recast without explanation became another small example of Men in Black 2's compromised quality, another detail where the sequel failed to match the care and attention that had made the original successful. Number 11. Barry Sonnenfeld. Directed while dealing with anxiety. Attacks
da un altro mondo. Io arrivo e vedo in te quel triste sguardo assai profondo. Per noi intenditori non c'è niente di meglio. Quella del missionario. Comunque, ero nella Bowery l'altra sera. Chi ti incontro? Una San Bernarda.
Director Barry Sonnenfeld was battling severe panic disorder during Men in Black 2's production, a condition that made the already stressful job of directing a troubled blockbuster nearly impossible. Panic attacks would strike without warning, leaving Sonnenfeld physically unable to function, his heart racing and breathing labored, while cast and crew waited for direction. Some days he literally couldn't be on set, forced to send instructions through assistant directors while he recovered in his trailer or hotel room. The panic disorder wasn't caused by the production, but was certainly exacerbated by the chaos surrounding the film. The script problems, budget overruns, star tensions, and mounting studio pressure created exactly the kind of stressful environment that triggered Sonnenfeld's condition. He was trying to make creative decisions while fighting his own brain chemistry, attempting to solve massive production problems while dealing with crippling anxiety. Sonnenfeld sought treatment and worked with therapists throughout production, but managing the disorder while directing a major film was brutally difficult. Cast and crew were mostly unaware of the severity of his struggles, though some noticed his occasional absences and visible stress. He pushed through, completing the film despite his condition. But the experience took a serious toll. Years later, Sonnenfeld spoke openly about his mental health struggles during this period, describing Men in Black 2 as one of the most difficult professional experiences of his career, specifically because he was fighting both production chaos and his own panic disorder simultaneously. Number 10. The deneuralizer effect required hypnotherapy. Consultants
Devo sparaflasciarti, poi tutto tornerà come prima. E dopo che mi hai sparaflasciato, io vedrò te. Ma tu non vedrai me. Deve essere duro.
Men in Black 2's plot involved reversing the neuralizer's memory, erasing effects, allowing Agent K to recover memories that had been suppressed for years. This concept required depicting memory recovery in a way that felt somewhat believable within the film's science fiction framework. The production hired actual hypnotherapy and memory recovery experts to consult on how the process would realistically appear if suppressed memories suddenly returned to consciousness. The consultants provided detailed information about how memory recovery actually works in therapeutic settings, how patients experience the return of suppressed information, and what psychological and physical symptoms might accompany sudden memory restoration. They explained that recovered memories often come back in fragments rather than complete narratives, that emotional responses can be overwhelming, and that the process can be disorienting and traumatic. The filmmakers incorporated some of this consultation into the sequences where Agent K recovers his memories, showing him experiencing flashes and fragments rather than smooth playback of past events. They depicted physical discomfort and emotional confusion accompanying the memory return, trying to ground the fantastical deneuralizer concept in something resembling actual psychological processes. The consultation added a layer of credibility to scenes that could have been purely silly, science fiction nonsense. While the deneuralizer itself remained completely fictional, the depiction of its effects reflected genuine understanding of how human memory and consciousness actually function. Number 9. Johnny Knoxville's scene was filmed in one take.
Got nothing out of him. Now we don't know if it's on Earth or not.
He said third planet. It's here.
Scruffy looking and make the two heads slightly different. And we made a really cool Johnny Knoxville scaled down head and long neck that's never gonna see.
Johnny Knoxville appeared as a two-headed alien character in one of the film's more elaborate creature designs. The prosthetic makeup and mechanical effects required to create the two-headed alien were extremely complex and expensive, involving sophisticated animatronics, detailed facial appliances, and coordinated performance between Knoxville and the effects operators controlling the second head. Building and applying the full makeup took hours, and the character could only be filmed for limited periods before the prosthetics degraded or needed repairs. Given these constraints, the production made a risky decision. They would film Knoxville's entire scene in essentially one extended take, using multiple cameras to capture different angles simultaneously, rather than breaking it into separate shots that would require resetting the expensive makeup repeatedly. The approach saved time and money, but meant there was minimal room for error. If something went wrong during the take, they would have to scrap hours of preparation and start over. Knoxville performed, brilliantly under pressure, delivering his dialogue and physical performance exactly as needed, while coordinating with the animatronic second head. The crew captured everything they needed in that single marathon take, avoiding the nightmare scenario of having to rebuild and reset everything. The gamble paid off, but it was another example of Men in Black 2's production, finding creative solutions to problems created by budget constraints and time pressure. Number 8. The subway chase used real New York trains.
No heroics by the book this time.
Got it.
Hey. Ooh. Hey. Jeff, what's happening, buddy? We were just wondering
What the hell are you doing here, worm boy? T.
Jeff, excuse my partner.
The subway chase sequence required filming in New York's actual subway system, capturing the authentic feel of underground stations and moving trains. Most major productions would completely shut down sections of the subway for filming, securing exclusive access and control over the environment. But Men in Black 2's schedule and budget didn't allow for that level of disruption. Instead, the production used guerrilla filmmaking techniques, shooting in real stations with minimal closures while actual subway service continued around them. Crew members set up cameras quickly during brief windows between scheduled trains, filming action sequences while real commuters passed through stations nearby. The approach was dangerous and chaotic, requiring constant coordination with transit authorities and razor-thin timing to avoid interfering with actual subway operations. Actors performed stunts and action beats knowing that real trains were running on nearby tracks, that the windows for filming were measured in minutes, and that any delays could shut down the entire sequence. The guerrilla approach captured an authentic subway atmosphere that constructed sets could never replicate. The grime, the sounds, the specific lighting and architecture of real New York stations gave the chase sequence visceral believability, but it also added enormous stress to an already troubled production, creating safety concerns and logistical nightmares that stretched the crew's capabilities. The finished sequence looked great, but the cost and stress and risk was substantial. Number 7. Sir Lena's true form was changed 3 times.
You kept it here.
What are you talking about?
I'm running out of time. Where's the light Azartha?
I swear I don't know what you're talking.
Lara Flynn. Boyle played Sir Lena in human form, but the villain's true alien appearance required extensive special effects work. The creature design team created an elaborate alien form that would be revealed at the film's climax. A monstrous design meant to be threatening and visually spectacular. When the first design was completed and shown to test audiences, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Viewers found it more silly than scary, laughing at moments that were supposed to be tense. The production went back and completely redesigned Sir Lena's alien form, creating a new version from scratch. This design also failed with test audiences, generating similar negative reactions. Desperate and running out of time, the effects team created a third completely different design, throwing out months of work and massive amounts of money to start over yet again. The third version finally tested acceptably, though it still didn't generate the enthusiastic response the filmmakers had hoped for. Each redesign cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and weeks of production time, contributing to the budget overruns and scheduled delays. The multiple failures demonstrated how disconnected the creative team was from what audiences wanted, how the rush production process prevented proper planning and testing, and how post-production became a desperate attempt to fix fundamental problems that should have been solved before filming began. Number 6. Patrick Warburton improvised the entire coffee scene.
Oh, goodbye. Yeah. Crowded. Man, what is wrong with you?
You're gonna neuralize me.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You took me to a public place so I wouldn't make a scene.
Patrick Warburton played Agent T, a neurotic MIB agent who suffers a breakdown from the stress of the job. His most memorable scene involves an extended comic monologue about needing coffee, delivered with increasing desperation and absurdist humor that became one of the film's genuine highlights. That entire scene wasn't scripted. Warburton improvised every word. The script provided only basic setup. Agent T is stressed and obsessed with getting coffee. The writers gave Warburton the scenario and told him to run with it, trusting his comedic instincts to create something funny. Warburton, an experienced improvisational performer, took the freedom and crafted an entire performance on the spot. escalating the coffee obsession into genuine mania while maintaining character believability. Director Barry Sonnenfeld loved what Warburton was creating and kept cameras rolling, letting him explore the bit fully without interruption. The scene was captured in essentially one long take, with Warburton building the comedy organically, finding rhythms and escalations that no written dialogue could have planned. The improvisation worked so well that it became one of Men in Black 2's most quoted and remembered moments. Warburton's success highlighted both his talent and the fundamental weakness of Men in Black 2's script. When talented performers were given freedom to improvise, they created the film's best moments. The written material couldn't compete with spontaneous creativity. Number 5. The movie's release was delayed 6 months. Men in Black 2 was originally scheduled for a holiday release in late 2001, positioning it as a major Christmas season blockbuster. But as production dragged on and post-production revealed the extent of the film's problems, it became clear that the movie wouldn't be ready for that date. The special effects weren't finished, the editing was still trying to salvage coherent narrative from chaotic footage, and test screenings kept identifying problems requiring additional work. Sony made the difficult decision to delay the film's release by 6 months, pushing it to summer 2002. The delay was publicly attributed to wanting to perfect the film and ensure quality, but internally everyone knew it was because the movie was a mess that needed extensive additional work. The extra time allowed editors to restructure sequences, effects teams to complete and revise problematic shots, and the filmmakers to conduct additional test screenings and make changes based on audience feedback. Even with 6 extra months, the finished film felt rushed and incomplete in many ways. Imagine what it would have been like if they had released the version that existed in late 2001. The delay saved Men in Black 2 from being an even bigger disaster, giving the production just enough time to transform it from unwatchable to merely disappointing. The extra 6 months became essential damage control for a sequel that had gone wrong. Number 4. Rip Torn was dealing with personal issues. During filming, Rip Torn returned as Zed, the gruff MIB chief who provided authority and occasional comic relief. But during Men in Black 2's production, Torn was struggling with personal demons that affected his behavior on set in ways that made the cast and crew uncomfortable. He would occasionally appear disoriented, have difficulty remembering lines, and display erratic mood swings that seemed out of character for the normally professional actor. At the time, most people attributed the behavior to stress or the chaotic production environment affecting everyone involved. But looking back with knowledge of what came later, Torn's on-set difficulties during 2002 foreshadowed serious problems. In the years following Men in Black 2, Torn's life unraveled publicly with arrests for intoxication, breaking into buildings while confused, and other incidents that revealed deeper issues with alcohol and possible cognitive decline. During filming, the production worked around Torn's occasional difficulties, adjusting schedules when he was having bad days, and keeping his scenes relatively simple to accommodate his struggles. His performance in the finished film shows glimpses of the problems, with Zed seeming less sharp and energetic than in the original movie, though most viewers attributed this to character age rather than actor difficulties. Torn's situation added another layer of sadness to Men in Black 2's troubled production. Another example of people struggling behind the scenes, while trying to create entertainment that would hide all evidence of those struggles from audiences. Number 3, the original ending was completely reshot.
I brought him over from Grand Central Terminal.
Why you put them rats in my locker, man?
I thought it were good things for you.
Men in Black 2 limped to the end of principal photography with a climactic finale that everyone hoped would work despite the chaotic production. The film was edited, effects were completed, and test screenings were conducted. Audiences hated the ending. Focus groups gave devastating feedback, indicating the finale was confusing, unsatisfying, and failed to deliver the excitement expected from a summer blockbuster conclusion. Faced with this response, Sony made an expensive and embarrassing decision. They would bring the cast back months after. Principal photography wrapped and reshoot the entire ending from scratch. This required reassembling actors who had moved on to other projects, rebuilding sets that had been struck, and spending millions of additional dollars to fix what should have been done correctly the first time. The reshoot created a completely different finale, with new action sequences, revised character resolutions, and alternative story beats. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones returned to set their relationship already strained from the troubled original production, forced to work together again on a film they probably hoped to be finished with. The new ending tested better, but still didn't generate enthusiasm, just acceptable scores that allowed the studio to release the film without complete embarrassment. The ending reshoot became the ultimate symbol of Men in Black 2's failure, concrete proof that the rushed production and incomplete script had created a movie so fundamentally flawed that even the climax needed to be completely redone. Number 2, Men in Black. 2 made less money than expected.
Wow.
Men in Black 2 opened strong with a massive first weekend, seeming to validate Sony's faith in the franchise despite the troubled production. The studio celebrated what appeared to be a major summer hit that would justify the bloated budget and rescue the sequel from its chaotic origins. Then, the second weekend arrived, and the bottom fell out. Box office dropped precipitously as negative word of mouth spread, and audiences who had rushed to see the sequel on opening weekend told their friends it wasn't worth the ticket price. The film eventually grossed just over $440 million worldwide, a respectable total for most movies, but disappointing for a sequel to a film that had earned nearly $600 million. When accounting for inflation and the increased production budget, Men in Black 2 actually performed significantly worse than its predecessor, despite costing far more to make. The studio had spent $140 million producing the film plus enormous marketing costs. And while it technically made a profit, the returns were far below projections. Sony had expected Men in Black 2 to be a guaranteed blockbuster that would launch a profitable franchise. Instead, it was a financial disappointment that performed adequately, but not spectacularly, earning less relative to its budget than the original and failing to expand the franchise's audience. The disappointing box office reflected the disappointing quality, proving that audiences could tell when a sequel was rushed and compromised. Number 1. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Barely spoke off camera.
You remember the little red button?
Yeah.
Push the little red button. And you may want to put on a seatbelt. You know, you're much too tense. You're a young man. You need to relax. Learn to take some joy in your work. You like music?
The on-screen chemistry between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones had been a major factor in the first Men in Black's success, their contrasting styles creating comedy gold. When they reunited for the sequel, audiences expected the same dynamic and relationship. But behind the scenes, the chaotic production had destroyed whatever working relationship the two actors had built during the original film. The constant script problems, the improvisation, Tommy Lee Jones's anger about the disorganization, and the general stress of the troubled shoot created tension between them that made interaction off-camera nearly impossible. Between takes, Smith and Jones would retreat to separate areas, avoiding each other completely. They didn't eat meals together, didn't socialize, didn't engage in the casual conversation that normally happens during downtime on film sets. When they needed to discuss scenes, they would communicate through assistant directors or other intermediaries rather than talking directly. The cold distance between them was obvious to everyone on set and created an uncomfortable atmosphere. Professionally, they delivered what was required. When cameras rolled, they performed their scenes together and created moments that worked on screen. But the warmth and genuine camaraderie from the first film was gone, replaced by two professionals doing their jobs without any real connection. the tension affected the sequel's quality in subtle ways, removing spontaneous chemistry that had elevated the original. After Men in Black 2 wrapped, Smith and Jones went years without working together again, their relationship damaged by a production that had been miserable for everyone involved. Men in Black 2 wasn't just a troubled sequel, it was a masterclass in how not to make a movie. From scripts written during filming, to stars who stopped speaking, from panic attacks to complete ending reshoots, chaos consumed the production. Despite massive opening numbers, it collapsed quickly, proving audiences know the difference between rushed product and crafted film. If these facts changed how you see this sequel, hit like, subscribe, and tell us which disaster detail shocked you most.